Hey guys, we are in West Hollywood and thank you for tuning in. We're now doing one of our favorite treatments in the office. This is very popular outside the United States. This is called facial threading. And we're using threads here that are called InstaLift or PLGA cones, which are basically sugar-based, a sugar-type substance in a thread, similar to a suture that you would put in under the skin. And they're attached to little microscopic needles that allow me to direct where I want the lifting and tightening to occur. And we find that our younger patients that do this, before they start to get that early sagging, get a really amazing results from the treatment because they get collagen production in these areas where we're inserting the threads. The cones lift and elevate the tissue very subtly, and what I'm going to do here for her is more of a, again, a higher level advanced contouring where we're inserting the thread deeply in one location but then superficial in another so that you get a really tighter look along the jawline. And a lot of my younger women, that's what they want. They want a really snatched contour. And you know, a lot of the celebrities now, we're looking at that, especially the makeup artists. They really know how to enhance and highlight certain features. We call that a signature feature of a patient or a client. So what I'm doing with that is giving her that look so that she can really enhance it when she does makeup or is out or just wants to be preventative. And so we're going right along the edge here on the jawline, really tightening the contour up. And that's perfect. So basically on this side, and I'm going to show you guys, we put 4 sutures here. And you can see if I grab those 4 sutures, look at how much elevation of tissue we're able to get. And what that's going to do for her is not only pull this all back, it's going to give her a jawline shaping that's going to pull in here at the edge, but it's also going to lift the corner of her lip and help the marionette line. And because she has a beautiful high cheekbone, absolutely gorgeous, it's going to make that nice contour and cutoff because this is going to be tighter and that's going to be lifted. So she's going to get a great look. I'm now going to have you turn your head all the way to the left. Perfect. And we're going to do that same thing on this side. I'm just going to show you guys how it works. We make a little insertion point using a larger gauge needle, and she's been numbed very lightly in those areas. We then insert and guide the needle directly through the tissue, and you really have to make sure you understand where this is going because this is where the art of this comes in and the skill. I've seen many people train to do this and have a person lopsided smile, have an indentation, have an irregular look, a kind of a ripple in the skin. You don't want that. So you have to make sure you're in the right level and you're really, really careful and you're perfect where you enter and exit the thread and at what depth. And so what we're doing is we're doing high level vectors here. We want to get lateral and vertical lifting. Okay, because if you do everything laterally, it looks windblown. You don't want that. Now we're not going to get that in a thread, but in a facelift, for example, you want to lift up and out because it looks much more natural. So that's what we're doing here. We're going back and then up. So we're going lateral and superior so that we get a really good outcome. We're at the right depth. We go through. How is your pain? You're unbelievable. She doesn't feel anything, which is great. I know everyone freaks out. I post the videos of this. Everyone thinks I'm torturing my patients. They always say that. But really, it's really a comfortable treatment when it's done right. Everyone's surprised. And again, we're guiding these cones and threads in the right lateral and superior location to get a nice tightening of her lower face, basically. Where do women feel they age early? Lower face, under eyes, and jawline. You know, they really talk to me about jowls all the time. And they say they don't want to look like their mom or their grandma. You know?
How long will this lifting last?
So I always tell people, you know, the dissolving of the stitches 1 to 2 years, but the collagen production is longer. After about 6 months, people will notice a really big improvement. Actually, by 6 weeks, people are gonna notice it instantly. By 6 weeks, they really start to see a big difference. So after that, I find most people go, can I get more? Because they love how it looks, they want it tighter, and there's really nothing else to do non-surgically that's gonna give you this type of lift, except for combining different types of threads. Now you can also add external heating devices, like thermage, ultherapy, and microneedling radiofrequency externally to get some tightening, but nothing's gonna give you that true contour like a lifting thread, unless you have surgery. So after about 3 to 6 months, could you add more to get more of a result? Sure. You have to think of this as preventative maintenance. Okay, what we wanna do, come on, let me pull a little bit more. Good. What we're trying to do is get her on a schedule where her face ages much more slowly, so that anyone around her, that is her friends who don't do this, when they get to a certain age, they're gonna look way older than her. That's how you have to think of these procedures, not what am I gonna get, it's what am I gonna look like in 20 years compared to my friends when I do this preventatively.
Will you repeat what treatment this is?
This is the InstaLift, or Silhouette InstaLift threading with cones, compared to PDO threads, which have barbs. These are cone threads. So now we just inserted all the threads. The next step is to sit the patient up and to tighten them. So we now have her little cat whiskers, that's what I call them. We're gonna lift her up so we can take a look. Now again, I will show you guys the extent of how much tightening she really can get with these threads. We can grab the little guitar strings and pull. Look how much tightening she's gonna get. This is pretty spectacular, the lifting ability. The key here is you do this subtly. Even though she's showing you what's being done, good. Most people don't want anyone to know they had anything done. I still think it's important for people to know where to go to get these things done, because otherwise they go to another country or somebody that's not reputable, and who knows what can happen, an infection and this and that. Turn to the right a little bit, put your chin up a little bit. Good, so I wanna show you the contour. That's the key. Okay, what we need to do now is tighten. So this is what's gonna feel a little weird. Basically pull and activate the threads. And in some of the threads, she's gonna feel them pulling. Do you feel that right now?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you can see when you get this little indentation, it's actually a good thing, because it means that there's much more tightening that's occurring. We say we're activating the cones. So now look what that just did. It's amazing. Look at how much it pulled her jawline in to get that lift and contour there. Now this is just the beginning. You're seeing this right now where it's tight and it's kind of pulled. But once it settles and the collagen builds there, it's going to be remarkably tight along the jaw. See? Activating the cones, activating the cones. Perfect. Let's take a look at the other side. Same sort of thing.
How does this activate them?
This takes the cones and pushes them up against the skin to grab onto the skin, so that you get more lifting. If you don't do this, the result does not last. If you don't have these little indents for a short time period, you don't get as good of a result.
Does this leave any scars?
No, it's all internal. You're not gonna see anything. So little marks today that I put on there, but that's it. But I really wanna get her that tight, like we say, snatched waist, we're getting a snatched jaw. That's the goal right now. I know, and everyone's probably thinking she doesn't need this, she's beautiful. Honestly, It's like when people say that person doesn't need to work out and they're a trainer. That's what they do to take care of themselves. This is what she's doing to take care of herself. What we all should be doing to be preventative. It's part of our treatment protocol. All right, last tightening. Again, activating the cones. Push towards the center of those cones. You can see them pulling. We want that. Beautiful. Now we cut. Now we go. Look up just a little bit. Perfect. So now what the key is, grab the ends of the thread, push them down slightly so that they're not shooting out, that nothing pokes out of her skin. And we release those threads, and now they go through a process of getting integrated into the skin, build collagen, tightening, giving her even more of a beautiful look, and build over time. Can we add more in the future? Of course. Look at that. Perfect. There a little bit. And see, on one side she has a little more pull, but that's probably because there's a little more looseness there. Could be.
That's my side, that's more loose.
There
Because
you
I have
go.
a deeper line on that side.
Okay, so we have the answer. So everyone always freaks out when they think one side looks different than the other at the beginning, but we have an answer. There's a reason. Typically when people have volume that's different on one side, they have a fold that's different on one side, etc. So not everybody is perfectly symmetrical. And that's that. So let me show her so she can get an idea of the pull, the level of pull, and what we did with her jawline. And then again, we go through healing. So here's what we typically would anticipate. So what we would anticipate is this part here being tight for a few days, and then that will subtly lift up and soften. But then look here,
Yeah,
this
I
is
don't
the goal.
have that fold in
Right,
there.
exactly. So even with the swelling, it's much more pulled here, and then we get this awesome definition through here. Now what some women will do is put a little filler in here, or they'll do some other tightening, like modular therapy or smooth threads to contour it more, but this is a perfect start to the lifting and the shaping. It's gonna look awesome.
Thank you
You
so much.
already look good, but you're gonna look even better. So that's threading.